restricted buttocks. You have to define it. Otherwise, the police cannot stop a woman who is stripped in clothes to dance some erotic dance as illegal. Okay, so here's the problem of what is the buttock. We have to measure exactly where exactly it begins and ends. That's really a problem. All right, so there are other examples you can see. Sometimes you can argue against or for an award of compensation based on how you interpret the word or. All right, yes, that's, and here are more examples in chapter 2. So I hope the discussion of what's considered, why is it necessary to have legal language is helpful. You can see it is really a necessary evil. It's an unnatural language. It's artificial. That's why it's so incomprehensible. It's not a natural language. However, we need a register like that to help us determine some thorny issues. Okay? Finally, I am going to talk about an important issue. Prepare your final project proposal. Right? So if you are half asleep, please wake up. This is an important moment. Don't let your right asleep, you know. Prepare for your final project. You remember next week is our midterm week. And it's time for you to identify an interesting case yourself. I have already demonstrated 5 cases. And I'll probably talk about the very last one, the 6th case, which is the stem cell research conflict. But whether I talk about it next week or not is really not crucial because you've already seen 5 cases. So I want you to identify a communication problem in a court case. This is our procedure. Today, before you leave, please choose your partner. I want to form 6 groups of 4 to 5 students in each group. And then, by next time, before you come to class, I would like you to find a court case of your interest to work on and submit a proposal individually, even though you are going to form a group. But I want you to think about this as an individual first. Think about it. But today you are going to find somebody as a group. You still have to submit your individual plan. And next week we will have we will use the class time for you to interact with your group members, and also I will help you revise your proposal. So you can submit your revised version by the 21st. And then, starting on the 29th, you are going to take turns presenting your case as a group. Okay, so I'm going to find out who is going to do what and make a list so you know when your group is going to present. And then you write up your final project as a group by January 9th and bring your draft on the 10th for discussion and revision. Like I said, I always give you a chance to revise your work. I grade your final product, but I help you along in the process of learning. Okay? So you can submit your final project by the 17th with an acknowledgement of your group members' contributions to the project at the end of the paper. Since you will be working together, each member should be responsible for making this project a big success. So you will acknowledge your members' contributions. That's really, a positive way of looking at I believe you will all do your very best to help your team members to come up with the best court case analysis. Where can you find court cases? Here's a book in the library which lists its it's British cases. British cases written by the only forensic linguist in the world who is doing that full time. There's only one forensic linguist who can make a living by being a forensic linguist. He's the only one, and he published the book, so it's interesting. But you may want to work on local cases, right? These are all British cases. You might have other cases that you are interested in. And you can also consult Vincent. I'm sure Vincent has many interesting cases. He's a very creative person. He has lots of ideas. You know, use him as a resource. I'm sure Vincent will be very willing to provide interesting cases from his perspective. Okay? Or you can find your own case from current events. Okay? Then how do you analyze your case? First, consult the 5 exemplar cases I presented in the class. Look at how I analyze those cases. And you can also read our textbook. We've already finished chapter 2. Next week we'll read 3 and 4. And as you read, all those principles will become very handy for you to explain your phenomenon. Of course, you can also always discuss me and our TAs. How do you report your case? Each group has 30 minutes to present your case. Again, you can begin by showing a video clip, or you can begin by doing a role play. Just be creative, right? Make it interesting. Then you can summarize the case in a PPT. You can identify the communication problem that leads towards the conflict in the court case, right? Of course, you have to provide arguments for the different parties involved if you have 2 sides or many different sides. Role play different solutions to the conflict. These are just simply options. You can choose what to do. I just list some options. You can discuss how a forensic linguist or an expert in different disciplines can help solve the crime or analyze the conflict. And finally, you can ask for comments and questions from the class after your presentation. So make it interactive, make it interesting and helpful for the rest of us to learn from your interesting case. All right, any questions about how to prepare for your proposal? Yes, Jean?
I want to ask about the proposal. It said that you have to submit it individually, but does it mean the content has to be individual too?
Okay, that's a good question. I have individually. Okay, wait a second. Let me. Yes. Individually means individually. What's your question again? Sorry.
So the content of the proposal.
The content of the proposal right here. It's also already on the e-course. Okay. State 5 W's and 1 H. First, 5W, what? What is the case that I would like to work on? What is the controversial issue that requires careful analysis? What is the crucial question that I would like to answer? What is the important problem that I would like to solve? These are all guiding questions for you to think about. That's the first W. Why? Why is it important to work on this case? Who? Who is going to be on my team? When? My time schedule. When are we going to work on the case individually and as a group? Think about a time frame, a time plan. And then, where? my project. How? How am I going to present the case orally in class? Think about that. How am I going to complete a written report as a group? What is my expectation of my team members to co-present a case? We need to learn to collaborate with other people. What is my expectation of my team members to co-author a paper? That can become a legal issue too, if we co-author a paper. Who is the first author? Who's the second? Who's the third? That's an issue you have to work on. Finally, that's important. This very last one, very important. Do I have certain work habits that my team members should be aware of? Do I have certain idiosyncrasies that other members need to know? For example, my work habit is like playing ping pong. So when I play ping pong, I want you to play it back right away when I work on the paper with you. In other words, if you don't respond right away, I get very anxious. I want to see the ball back immediately so I can play again. That's my style, ping pong style. So if you collaborate with someone like me, I can become very impatient if I don't hear a response from you within a day. So that's something you need to be aware of if you co-author a paper with me. If you're silent, I can get very impatient and wonder what's going on, and I might want to drop you as a member to pursue somebody else very quickly. Okay, so that's my idiosyncrasy. You need to think about it, reflect on it, so you can find the most suitable members to work together. I want you to have a positive experience in the process, but I think it's very important to learn to cooperate with other people by laying out your expectations and your idiosyncrasies first, so other people can be aware of first before they, jump in this group and then find, oh no, this is not where I want to be. Okay? Good question. Did I answer your question, Jean?
So we work on the proposal with the same topic first.
First, find your members. Find somebody you want to work with. 4 or 5 people in a group. I want 6 groups. Okay. And then you can talk to each other this week, but each member needs to submit your own proposal. Okay? Although the topic is the same, your process of thinking is different. This will help me next week to help you, when you come together as a group to discuss the details. I can look at these potential directions or problems, and I can give you some advice. And bring a copy of your proposal to class next week. So beginning from next week and the rest, our organization is a little bit different. Okay. We'll continue to read our textbook. I'm going to use that to help you find ways to analyze your data. But you are going to take charge. It's your turn to show that you can do an analysis. I have already demonstrated 5 cases. It's your turn to show us, yes, you can do it. Any other questions? All right, if not, yes, Benson.
I want to get everybody the suggestion or the advice to help you finish the project.
The project, okay, yeah.
In the library
Can
have
you
a...
come
Okay.
here because we are videotaping?
In the library, you can go to the library. We have a database named the Lasers Academy. You can
Could you write it on the board? What is it called? Huh?
Lasers.
L-A?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lasers. And you can find it, the case very easy. And when you research the case, some important skill you must be know. First, you will know the problem of the facts or the problem of the legal. It's different.
In other words, distinguish your facts from what?
Case.
Case.
Yes. In the case,
Case?
we have the facts problem, and another is a legal problem. It's different.
We have facts as a problem or legal problem.
Yeah,
Right.
it's different, but you will become showing your case, and then you will know legal problems, some theory principle. So I think it's very difficult for you, but you can find something. For example, what the article they maintained about.
Can you tell us about this database? What is it called? Or in Chinese? Laces. Laces. How do you write it? Laces. Okay, that's okay. You know, next week I have a librarian to come here who's going to speak in English for 20 minutes on how to use the library resources to complete your project. See, I'm all prepared. Thank you for mentioning it. Maybe we can ask about laces. Keep that in mind, laces. Right. Database, laces, database. We can ask our librarian next week. Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, so next week, please remember to bring a copy of your 5 W's and 1 H to class. And I also have another questionnaire, midterm questionnaire online for you to fill out. So if you can do me a favor by filling out that midterm questionnaire too, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so there are 2 files for you to work on. And meanwhile, please remember to read Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 for next week. Chapter 3 is on legal genres. Chapter 4 is on interaction between the police and suspects. And I'm going to draw examples from my observations in the Jiayi District Court to illustrate, interesting examples. Okay. All right. Can I have you take out a piece of paper and write again 4 things? What you like about today's class, what you dislike about today's class, what you have learned, and what questions